A CMDB is the centerpiece of the implementation of ITIL best practices, but many CMDB projects fail or fail to meet their expectations. Among other reasons, the role of automation and data quality is often underestimated. In this video, we show how good discovery can help solve this problem and make a CMDB the centerpiece it deserves to be. Welcome to the JDisc YouTube channel. Hi, my name is Peter. So first let's look at the ITIL practices, both general management practices and service management practices. Among those, there are two that will be interesting for our today's discussion, and that is IT asset management and service and configuration management. These both practices are the fundament of other ITIL practices that will later be used in help desk and service management environments. While ITIL is a framework for IT service management best practices, there is usually a suite of tools that enterprises use in order to implement ITSM processes. These include a help desk, incident management, ticket management, problem change management tools, and these also include a configuration management database, short CMDB. This is really one of the centerpieces of a ITIL or ITSM environment. There are a couple of these ITSM tools that make use of the CMDB as their single most important database of configuration and items. And other lower level applications will also make use of the CMDB as their central database, such as service or application and system monitoring. Well, the question is, where does all the data come from? Well, one way is that a human being types in all the data via the corresponding CMDB or service desk applications. Well, you can imagine that in a large environment, this will not work. So usually you have some kind of automation so that as many configuration items as possible will be discovered automatically and the CMDB be filled instead of being typed in. So a discovery tool is the component that does this automation of the CMDB content. And it's a critical part, as we shall see. Each of the components in this picture play a certain role. So a service desk or the other ITSM applications, they implement the ITIL processes. The CMDB is containing not just the current state, but also planned state. And it's the single source of truth for all the other tools. It's the central component of service configuration management and is usually used for something like IT documentation. Discovery, on the other hand, is a helping solution that is crucial for having a good data quality in the CMDB and is implementing the IT asset management process of ITIL in the end. Usually it delivers the current state and also the history of changes in the environment and is thus providing most important information for a CMDB. Of course, you can also import data from other sources into a CMDB, but discovery should bring in the big part of the data, let's say of the 80% of all the configuration item data that there is in the managed environment. What happens if there is no discovery in the picture? Well, there is no automation. So a CMDB needs to be filled manual. All the systems that rely on it in the ITSM space as well in the IT monitoring space will have a hard time to get a good data quality. There will be configuration items missing, having an old state. There will be items in there that don't exist anymore, and all these kinds of problems. So with this kind of setup, a CMDB project is doomed to fail. So you see, discovery and the CMDB are two parts of a system, and you need both of them. Neither a system with just discovery, except for simple cases, nor a system with just that CMDB will be a success. So they need to work together. How do they do that? Well, first of all, you might have multiple discovery systems in different environments. If you do a cloud environment discovery, if you do office environment discovery, or if you do discovery in the data center, you might have different installation of a discovery tool. And the CMDB as a single source of truth serves as a central aggregation point for all the data that has been discovered in these different environments of an enterprise. And not only that, you will also have different users using these two systems. So, as we said before, all the ITSM processes are done on the CMDB. So, help desk members, IT management, so management level of people will look into the CMDB for reference for finding their data. The discovery system is more a supporting system, a critical supporting system, of course, in that sense. And it will mainly used by the experts that are responsible for discovery or that want to implement certain specific use cases for analysis, etc., based on the specific environment using these discovery tools. The more difference between these two cooperating components. A CMDB must be very flexible, right? So it has a very generic flexible data model, an object model, where you can represent relations and entities of all kinds of sources. Usually have a classification, you manage the life cycle of configuration items, you not only have the automatically discovered data, but also the business context. For example, if there's a server, there's a responsible application that is running on this, there's a responsible person attached to this configuration item. And also during the work of the ITSM process, you will have artifacts or records for these ITSM processes that you will find in the CMDB. On the other hand, the discovery tool will have a very specific and detailed data model. It has to have a very high quality, because if the data in there is of low quality, then your CMDB will have low quality. And the data discovery is also responsible for doing the normalization, versus the CMDB is really the source of identification of the single source of truth of data in the corresponding object model. There are, of course, other ways to import data into a CMDB. So either by typing them in or by importing them from comma separated value files or others. But the difference between these and a good discovery data model is that the discovery model has really all the relations between the entities as you find them in the real world already covered. And these are critical for the CMDB object model later. So it's like 60% of all the value of a good CMDB object model comes from a good discovery data model. So what properties should a good discovery tool have for use with CMDB? Well, of course, it needs a lot of functionality. It needs to cover all aspects like network discovery, system discovery, and looking at users, file system, all the things that you need. It needs to cover all your assets and all the functionality that you need. It needs to have a special focus on the data quality, on normalization, so that you don't get shit in, shit out in CMDB. And it needs to, of course, be fast in this discovery task, because you want to have up-to-date data, and it needs to scale with the size of your environment. It needs to, of course, have a good integration with your CMDB, and it needs to have APIs and open interfaces in order to export or access the data in not only the CMDB or all the tools that you need to use for it. The one discovery solution that we can recommend you is JDisc Discovery, which fulfills all these points and will be a perfect match to your CMDB. Look at www.jdisc.com. So if you enjoyed this short video, we would appreciate if you give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and use the notifications so that you don't miss any of the new videos that will come regarding discovery in certain use cases. Thank you. Your Peter.